eradicated, and practical tests have been eliminated, reducing them from 25 to 9. But the training has been very specific on one point, and that is that no judicial warrant or court authorization is necessary to break down people's doors and violate their rights. People should be shocked and horrified by what they will hear today, and so should my colleagues. So much so that I am hoping we will have bipartisan support for fundamental and far-reaching reform, that this hearing will be an impetus, among others, that we are having toward reforming ICE in a root and branch way, not just cosmetically, but fundamentally, so that the kind of misconduct that we are seeing in America's communities and streets will be stopped.
So I want to pause right here and remind you all that when I talk about impeach, remove, and prosecute, right? When I talk about those three things, impeach, remove, and prosecute, who's first on my list? What cabinet member did I say should be impeached first, because I believe that they will be able to get bipartisan support for her impeachment? Noem, Kristi Noem. She's top of my list. And I believe because of this testimony like this and the facts around her and the facts around ICE, she's first to go. I believe that she is the person that you could get the most bipartisan support for her removal. And I recommend that you do it by the summer, like right around the summertime. And the reason why I recommend articles of impeachment being done at that point in time is that it needs to happen close to the midterms. That way you can turn around and have a Democratic majority in Congress. Therefore, whoever is selected to be her replacement doesn't get rubber stamped, right? Does not get rubber stamped by the GOP Senate like they did this last time. Follow me? So if you time it correctly, because if you time it correctly, it will be beneficial for everyone, Republicans and GOP alike, to impeach and remove her, because there are plenty of Republicans and what they might consider rhinos, what Trump might consider rhinos, who are against what she's doing as well. I just needed to cover that again.
This training to break the law
Noem is first.
Is not a thing of the past. It's ongoing. It is not accidental. It is purposeful and deliberate. It is not only sanctioned, but it is ordered at the very top of this organization through a memo that explicitly states ICE policy. And Mr. Schwank will testify
you love when there's
about
a
it.
memo, right?
It is not a momentary lapse.
It's writing.
It is not isolated misconduct. It is purposeful and intentional instruction and teaching about breaking the law.
Yeah.
The truth that we will hear today completely discredits statements and testimony, some under oath,
so much and just get
by DHS officials within the last few weeks. And we will see and hear evidence today, both in documents that we are releasing and in testimony from Mr. Schwank, about the training of ICE agents and deliberate concealment of illegal ICE policies, directly refuting sworn testimony of Acting Director Lyons and other administration officials. His testimony shows not only internal chaos and incompetence, but intentional, calculated action that accompanied the brutal violence and violation of rights that we have seen on the streets. A lot of people are wondering, how could this kind of brutality and violence happen at the hands of government officials in America if they had the right training and the right people? And the answer is They had the wrong training
Garcia, can I
and,
speak?
in many instances, the wrong people. The numbers of people have skyrocketed from 500 a year to more than 3,500. And the training has been truncated.
It's 3
and
words, 2 words,
reduced,
1
both
word.
in numbers of courses and substantive policy.
It's hard.
2 weeks ago, the head of ICE sat before members of Congress and promised that no.
I'm going past. I'm going past. I can't. Jesus Christ. I keep going because now Garcia's speaking. I hate this. Why are y'all talking for this long? Okay.
He dealt with recruits at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center
It's him, then Garcia,
in
then him
Glencoe,
again.
Georgia. Steve Bunnell is a former general counsel of the Department of Homeland Security and a former chief of the criminal division.
I got to her talking. Okay, she's first. Okay.
Here to tell my story. I would also like to start by
I'm
saying
watching on C-SPAN.
12/29 was the date my husband checked in with ICE. He had another appointment on January 26th. This all happened on my oldest son's birthday. My name is Tiana Gibson Brown, and today I stand before you not just to speak, but to bear witness. I am here to share a deeply personal and painful experience, how me and my family's Fourth Amendment were violated. Most days when I get off of my night shifts, the mornings have a usual routine for me. I know what to expect, and I expected the same routine of my morning on January 11th. I got off of work around 7:30 a.m., got home, and went to sleep at around 8:30. Except on this day, I was woken up to my husband, Garrison William Gibson Brown, at around 9:30 a.m., telling me that ICE was outside of our home, banging at the door. The second I woke up, I could tell how terrified my husband was.
Yep.
This fear intensified when the constant banging at the door woke our 9-year-old daughter, Miss Anna, up. And from there, the fear only intensified. Garrison went to the door and asked the officers through the closed door about why they were at our home. Followed with this, he asked them if they had a warrant. The officers at the door told Garrison that they did have a warrant, and it was signed by a judge. When Garrison asked to see the warrant, the officer simply ignored his request. Although my husband and I may not be experts in the legality of some situations, we are aware of the fundamentals and understood how the Fourth Amendment shielded us from arbitrary government searches and seizures. Given this, my husband repeatedly requested to see the warrant. The circumstances outside of our home only intensified. We knew our rights, though. We knew no one could just barge into our homes without a warrant because this space was ours. The officers started surrounding our property. Our neighbors and other protesters started gathering around, demanding that the officers leave. There was patent fear that filled our home. Although me and Garrison tried to calm ourselves down, knowing that no matter what, our constitutional rights could not be breached by authorities that claim to be law enforcing bodies themselves. In no time, the scene only became more violent. Officers from the truck started shooting pepper spray at the protesters. Amid all of this, but 10 officers approached my front door. They looked like SWAT agents, holding each other's shoulders like a barricade. One of them grabbed a protester that was in the front of my yard from the front of his neck and the back of his head and slung him in the icy ground. The officers walked up to my door and started ramming the door. They hit the door 3 times until the door popped open. My stomach fell. I heard the door pop and I realized we were no longer protected. Far away from ever experiencing anything like this, We've never known anything of the sort. The officers stood at the door and they were pointing their guns at us. 10 officers that were all armed were standing in front of me and my family. Words can never be sufficient for me to portray what sorts of horror we felt in this moment.
Her face.
I stood between the officers and Garrison, and I asked the officers yet again to show me the warrant. Despite all of this, they did not show me anything. My daughter and my little cousin, both children, were rushed in the room by my sister and were told to hide in the closet. The fear in my daughter's eyes is something you can't imagine.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I don't think she was done, but let me just, that's a good place for me to pause. Good morning, Jesse. I don't know that people truly understand. Have any of you all ever been around? Has anybody ever pointed a gun in your face? I just need you to imagine having someone break into your house, 10 of them, dressed like military people with assault weapons. Good morning, Marcus. And pointing them in your face. This is crazy. Let me get the rest of her testimony. Let me see if Senator Blumenthal speaks or, whoops, hold on. I was trying to, she's almost in tears when she says, the look on my face, the look on my daughter's face. She's almost in tears when she looks at them and she says that.
Thank you, Senator.
Whistleblower.
Thank you, Senator Blumenthal, Representative Garcia, members of the committee. My name is Ryan Schwank. I swore an oath to uphold the Constitution when I joined ICE on August 1st, 2021, as an Assistant Chief Counsel. I followed that oath for 4.5 years, working side by side with ICE officers. And I followed it when I resigned on February 13th, 2026, a little over a week ago, so that I could speak to you today. I am here because I am duty-bound to report the legally required training program at the ICE Academy is deficient, defective, and broken. 5 months ago, I was asked to teach the law to new cadets at the ICE Academy in Glencoe, Georgia, where ICE is training its new, inexperienced recruits.
Inexperienced recruits.
I volunteered, those without law enforcement training. I volunteered to take on this assignment based on my experience in law enforcement oversight, including at the state and local level prior to my work with ICE. On my first day, I received secretive orders to teach new cadets to violate the Constitution by entering homes without a judicial warrant. For the last 5 months, I watched ICE dismantle the training program, cutting 240 hours of vital classes from a 584-hour program. Classes that teach the Constitution, our legal system, firearms training, the use of force, lawful arrests, proper detention, and the limits of officers' authority. For example, they ceased all of the legal instructions regarding use of force. This means that cadets are not taught what it means to be objectively reasonable, the very standard which the law requires them to meet when deciding whether or not to use deadly force. Our jobs as instructors are to teach them so well that they can make split-second decisions about what they can and cannot do in life or death situations. Yet, in the name of churning out an endless stream of officers, DHS leadership has dismantled the academic and practical tests that we need to know if cadets can safely and lawfully perform their job. All to satisfy an administration demanding they train thousands of new officers before the end of the year. DHS told the public that new cadets receive all the training they need to perform their duties, that no critical material or standards have been cut. This is a lie.
Give me 1 second. Bless Our Land. Would you like to join the panel for me? I want to give you an opportunity to be heard and to have a discussion with me. Guys, let me talk to Bless Our Land, please. Let me talk to let me talk to her. I can't send you an invitation because of the way that you have your profile set up. But Bless Our Land, if you would like to join this panel so that we can discuss your views and what you believe facts and truth are, I'm going to pause this recording and give you an opportunity to do so right now. Because what I'm not going to do is continue to play this incredibly important information and allow you to be disruptive in the chat. That's what I'm not going to do. So you're going to have a choice. The choice will either be to get on the panel and have a discussion, or you will be booted out of this space. Not because you disagree with me, but because you are intentionally disruptive in the chat when we are listening to vitally important information. So that would be your choice. Bless Our Land, I'm waiting for you. Is she still in here? Because this is the way that it works in this space. When you come in here, you have to be ready to behave like a grown-up and have real conversations. It does not appear that you're ready to do so. Yeah, like if you believe that you have more information than the man that's actually been hired to train ICE and has worked with ICE for 4 years, I would love to hear from you. Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. So so mods, you know how to clean up. Okay? What's up, A Mooney? You know how to clean up, mods. All right, here we go. Thank you, Linda. Here we go.
ICE made the program shorter, and they removed so many essential parts that what remains is a dangerous husk. No reasonable person would believe a training program suddenly cut nearly in half could meet the minimum legal requirements. These aren't abstract rules. They're required in regulations such as 8 CFR 287G1. Congress requires immigration officers to meet minimum standards for a reason. ICE cannot lawfully perform their duties, make arrests, carry weapons, and use force without passing appropriate training. New cadets are graduating from the academy despite widespread concerns among training staff that even in the final days of training, the cadets cannot demonstrate a solid grasp of the tactics or the law required to perform their jobs. Without reform, ICE will graduate thousands of new officers who do not know their constitutional duty, do not know the limits of their authority, and who do not have the training to recognize an unlawful order. That should scare everyone. DHS assures the public these cadets can get the job training on compensate for any.
He said they do not have the knowledge to be able to identify an unlawful order. Like I needed to stop for a moment because I need you to let that sink in. It's different if you have the training, you know the Constitution, you know the legalities, and you're being given an unlawful order that you know is unlawful, and you choose not to do it, right? He is saying to you that because of the cuts to their training, they are graduating without the knowledge to even identify if an order is unlawful. Holy shit. They don't have unlimited immunity, Renee. They don't. That's not true. They don't have unlimited immunity. No, they don't. I'm rewinding just a second so that you all can hear this part of what he's saying.
Minimum legal requirements. These aren't abstract rules. They're required in regulations such as 8 CFR 287G1. Congress requires immigration officers to meet minimum standards for a reason.
Somebody asked, who is he? Yeah, so he worked with ICE for 4 years, Rarin, prior to being hired to actually teach at the academy for ICE agents. Like that was his job. He worked at the academy training ICE agents. And for 4 years prior to that, he worked alongside ICE. That's who he is.
ICE cannot lawfully perform their duties, make arrests, carry weapons, and use force without passing appropriate training. New cadets are graduating from the academy despite widespread concerns among training staff that even in the final days of training, the cadets cannot demonstrate a solid grasp of the tactics or the law required to perform their jobs. Without reform, ICE will graduate thousands of new officers who do not know their constitutional duty, do not know the limits of their authority, and who do not have the training to recognize an unlawful order. That should scare everyone. DHS assures the public these cadets can get the job training on compensate for anything missing at the academy. This is a lie. Many graduates go to their home office just long enough to get their gun, their badge, and their body armor before deploying to places like Minneapolis and other ICE operations with minimal supervision. It's shocking that anyone would think this is safe or responsible. And this pattern of lies is not isolated. It extends beyond the training program to include deceiving Congress and the public about the rules followed by ICE officers once they graduate. On my first day at the academy, I was instructed to read and return a memo in my supervisor's presence, which claimed ICE officers could enter homes without a judicial warrant. The acting ICE director authorized the very conduct that DHS, in its own 2025 legal training materials, had called the chief evil against which the wording of the Fourth Amendment is directed. That is, physical entry of the home without consent or a proper warrant. Never in my career had I ever received such a blatantly unlawful order, nor...
Now, you know what gets me? Do you know what I'm thinking of right now? So for those of you guys who aren't familiar and maybe you weren't with me when we covered it, I'm immediately thinking about Aaron Ravini, Mr. Ravini. I'm immediately thinking about him. So he's a DOJ immigration lawyer, and he was promoted to acting director for this particular division. And what's crazy is the day he was told about his promotion, he's brought into a meeting, and Emil Bovey, the guy that they just appointed to the appellate court, told them, this room of immigration lawyers at DOJ, that there may come a time where they have to tell the federal judges, fuck you, and not follow court orders. And he had the same, Aaron Ravizzi, he had the same reaction that this guy has. He said, never in my life had I ever heard that we would ignore a judge's orders. Yeah, so Aaron Ravini, we so I covered, if you want after this, I'll cover it again. But we went over his whole whistleblower case We went over all of the text messages. Listen, he kept text messages. He kept every email. He kept everything. I was so angry. We were calling our senators when he went before the Senate to be able to be confirmed, right? Yes, Dark Lord, he did. But he worked in DOJ forever. And so we talked about this before Emil Bovee was even confirmed. We were calling senators going, how in the fuck can you confirm him? Like, he's so corrupt. It's so awful. Yes, he lied under oath and all the things. So it triggered me remembering Mr. Ravini's testimony and his whistleblower complaint. But let me go ahead and click play again for you. So, yes, Derek. Yes. Oops. Sorry. Oops. They want the link. And so I'm going to do that for you. All right, let me push play.
Or one conveyed in such a troubling manner. Incredibly, I was being shown this memo in secret by my supervisor, who made sure that I understood that disobedience could cost me my job. ICE is teaching cadets to violate the Constitution, and they were attempting to cloak it in secrecy by demanding that I lie about it. I am here to convey to the public the danger that is being created at the ICE Academy. I know from my conversations with many facility members, many of the faculty, that I am not alone in my fear. Law enforcement is a deadly serious business. It is not a place for shortcuts. Deficient training can and will get people killed. It can and will lead to unlawful arrests, violations of constitutional rights, and a fundamental loss of public trust in law enforcement. ICE is lying to Congress and the American people about the steps it is taking to ensure its 12,000 new officers faithfully uphold the Constitution and can perform their jobs. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak to you today and happy to answer any questions you have now or in the future. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Schwank. Mr. Brunel.
Thank you, Senator Blumenthal, Representative Garcia, and the members of the committee, both for your leadership on immigration issues and for giving me an opportunity to speak with you today. My name is Steve Bunnell. I was the General Counsel of the Homeland Security Department from 2013 until 2017. I previously had served 17 years as a career federal prosecutor, including several years as the chief of the criminal division in the U.S. Attorney's Office here in Washington, D.C. I am one of 6 former general counsel and acting general counsel of DHS who recently co-authored a guest essay in the New York Times disagreeing with ICE's new policy of relying on administrative arrest warrants to forcibly enter private residence to arrest someone for a civil immigration violation. The 6 of us included top DHS lawyers from the Bush administration, the Obama administration, the first Trump administration, and the Biden administration. This is a group that doesn't agree on policy issues always, but we all agreed on this point. The judicial warrant is a requirement of the Fourth Amendment, and it applies to ICE just like it applies to every other federal, state, and local law enforcement agency. What also united and frankly offended all of us who signed that New York Times op-ed was the current general counsel characterizing career DHS lawyers as, quote, deep state operatives with some sort of hidden agenda to undermine the department's mission.
Yep.
This is a cheap shot, and it's wrong. It's not the so-called deep state that for decades has kept ICE from entering a home using just an administrative warrant.
Nope.
It is the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution.
That's right.
And the lawyers who took an oath to support and defend it. During our time at DHS, the 6 of us worked with thousands of DHS lawyers. Those lawyers sought to ensure that DHS's actions are lawful and to protect the constitutional rights of the people DHS agents encounter during operations. To smear career lawyers as deep state operatives for giving legal advice that is faithful to the Constitution is not only offensive, but also dangerous.
Yeah.
It sends a message. If you give your best professional advice and urge the department to respect the law, you will be attacked for doing your job. It is a basic principle of the Fourth Amendment that searches and seizures inside a home without a judicial warrant are presumptively unreasonable. Indeed, as Mr. Schwenk just said, the Supreme Court has stated that the physical entry of the home is the chief evil against which the working of the Fourth Amendment is directed.
Yes.
The law is also clear, as Representative Garcia pointed out, that, the law is also clear you can't enter someone's home without a warrant that's been issued by a neutral and detached magistrate or judge. In other words, the police can't sign their own warrants. This is a basic check and balance against tyranny, and also a recognition that in the competitive enterprise of law enforcement, even a good, well-intentioned police officer is subject to the natural human biases that we all share, and therefore needs the approval of a neutral and independent judicial officer before taking an action as consequential as a forced entry into a person's home. And as Representative Garcia noted, it's important to point out that in the context of immigration enforcement, the Fourth Amendment says the people have the right to be protected from unreasonable searches and seizures. It doesn't say people.
That's right.
It's thus well established that the Fourth Amendment applies to everyone within the physical boundaries of the United States, including immigrants who are not lawfully present. ICE claims that its general statutory detention authority combined with a final removal order by an immigration judge is sufficient to satisfy the Fourth Amendment. But that argument doesn't work. Immigration judges are not neutral and detached judicial officers within the meaning of the Fourth Amendment.
Correct.
They work for the executive branch and are subject to the control of the president and the attorney general. Immigration judges also lack the statutory authority to issue warrants, either for an arrest or for a search. I'm happy to flesh out these points and others during my testimony. In closing, I urge the Homeland Security Department to adhere to the Constitution and to end the un-American practice of conducting forcible entries into homes without judicial warrants. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brunel.
Okay. Sorry, you guys.
We have been alternating the gavel.
I am looking for the printout of the whistleblower complaint. I am a printer outer person, and I have so many of the lawsuits. No, give me 1 second. If I can't lay my hands on it, because when I moved, I just packed it. I just threw everything in a box, and I'll read it from the site. I would just print it again, but I printed out a bunch of stuff the other day, and so I need new ink. So I'm not going to be able to print it. Damn. Give me 1 sec. I'm just checking real quick. Nope. It's a whole box. It's a whole box. How much? Holy shit. Did I just find it? Okay. Hold on. I just got really excited, didn't I? Hold on. That's one of them. Because when you read this, when you read Aaron Ravini's, when you read Aaron Ravini's whistleblower complaint, it's really important. No, Linda, I don't have a file cabinet. It's really important that you also have Kilmar Abrego Garcia's court paperwork, because there are things that are happening at the same time. And you have to connect all of the dots together. Hey, Melody, 1 second, y'all, because I got one part of it, and that means the other part is in here, and I'm going to find it real quick, I think. This is the second box. You guys over here are like, holy shit, you guys over here on TikTok can't see. But so like, see, this is the second box. If you give me a second, I'm gonna see if because I literally threw them in here at the same time. A assistant. Okay, that's, yeah, this is Sassoon. This is that. Yeah, this is all part of it. Hold on, that's the American Oversight. Why can't I find the one, the real document, the one that I really want? There's that one. Give me 1 second, guys. I promise. That's Project Esther. I promise I'll give up in a minute. Nope, that's Jack Smith. I really thought that was it because it was highlighted the way that I highlight things. Nope. Okay, I'm about to give up. Not me having all of them except for the one that I really want. Damn. No. Okay, now I'm in the ballad. Okay, so. All right, let me see what I do have. This is Adams. That's Scott's. Damn. Okay. I know. Sorry, y'all, but it's really gonna bother me now because it should have been with all of these and it's not. Okay. Did I put it in my link tree? The problem isn't that I already have it pulled up digitally. I just like the paper. I already have it pulled up digitally. Because, okay, so when I read it from the paper, I already have it highlighted. I print every damn thing. And so like I moved like, I don't know, 5 months ago, but you got to remember when I moved, it was right before Halloween, then Thanksgiving, then Dominic's birthday, then Christmas, then my mom's birthday, then Mila's birthday. So like everything else is where it's supposed to be, but not all my shit. So like there's just been too much going on for me to get all of my paperwork organized. Okay, so I already have the whistleblower complaint pulled up. And so let me share with you guys. Yeah, it's been a lot. So let me share with you guys kind of the background on this, okay? Just so that you all know. And yes, I am so tempted to look over here. I'm really mad. Not mad. I'm just irritated at myself because I should be able to just put my hands on it and I can't. And it's irritating me. It's irritating me. Fuck. Okay, I'll find it. All right, so listen. Okay, so this is really important stuff. I swear. It's so important. All right, so Erez Raveni has been he's been an attorney inside of DOJ for like a decade. He's been under Trump's administration, under Biden's administration, I believe even under Obama's administration. And he worked, yeah. So he has been at DOJ for a really long time, and he was promoted. Let me find where he starts going through the series of events. Okay, so here we go. He'd been at DOJ for 15 years. Thanks, Metal Rabbit. It's because I really want you all to know this information. Like, it's so big. It is so big. There's no reason Emil Bovee should have never been confirmed as an appellate court judge. He is another person that should be impeached, removed, and prosecuted. 100%. Emil Bovee is who made the Attorney General for the Southern District of New York drop the charges against New York City Mayor Eric Adams, because Eric Adams was willing to cooperate with the Trump administration for immigration in New York. And that's a real thing. That is a real thing. Literally, prosecutors resigned over that. Danielle Sassoon resigned. Her assistant resigned. In the meeting, it's so crazy because in the meeting that they had about this, Emil Bovee, so like the Attorney General for New York, Danielle Sassoon, she's in there, and her assistant attorneys were taking notes. Just like the fucking mob, Emil Bovee goes around and collects the notes. Nobody was even allowed to take notes from the meeting. This is how corrupt the DOJ is right now. No, fuck getting him to flip on Bondi and Bowman. Fuck him. He needs to go all the way down. He is so corrupt. It is horrible. And we don't need him to flip. Like, literally, he's the one who gave the orders. Bondi can be handled just because of her testimony in Congress. Okay, so I'm gonna try to do this and connect all the dots for you. And then, oh my God. Sorry, y'all. This gets me stupid hype because I know all the they literally in the room collected the notes. No one was allowed to leave with their notes. All right, so listen. So Erez Raveni, when he refused, and this is all about, listen, do you all remember in the very beginning where they deported 220 Venezuelans along with Kilmar Abrego Garcia, and they put them on planes and they sent them to CICOT? Do y'all remember this? This is what this is about. Okay? This is what this is about. All right? So listen to this. And because he refused to lie to a federal judge, they fired him. He'd been with DOJ for 15 years. So listen to this. Before his unlawful removal from federal service on April 11th, 2025, Mr. Raveni had an exemplary, nearly 15-year legal career at the DOJ. Mr. Raveni began his career at the Office of Immigration Litigation. That's called OIL, for those of y'all who just need the acronym. And he was in the district court section, so that's the area that he worked in 2010 as a trial attorney, and was promoted multiple times under both the Republican and Democratic administrations. So you figure 15 years, that goes all the way back to 2010, right? So he was in the DOJ under Obama, under Trump, under Biden, and then again under Trump. Okay. So that just tells you a little bit about Raveni. Most recently, Mr. Raveni served as the acting deputy director for the Office of Immigration Litigation, responsible for all of OIL's immigration litigation arising in U.S. district courts nationwide. So he was appointed as the acting deputy director for the OIL offices that handle court cases across the country in U.S. district courts, overseeing 100 attorneys handling hundreds of cases. His supervisory responsibilities included oversight of the government's defense against many significant legal challenges, to multiple executive orders signed by President Trump, and defending multiple immigration policy initiatives on behalf of DHS, DOS, DOD, and DOL, and HHS, right? So Department of Homeland Security, Department of State, Department of Defense, Department of Labor, and Health and Human Services. Mr. Ravenny received notice of his promotion to that role on March the 14th of 2025. And it was going to be effective 1 week later on March the 21st, 2025. Okay. In the following week alone, Mr. Ravenny oversaw and defended the government's position in at least 7 cases involving motions for temporary restraining orders or preliminary injunctions seeking court orders enjoining Trump administration policies nationwide, including multiple emergency appeals to various courts of appeal. Prior to Mr. Ravenny's termination in the Kilmar Abrego Garcia case, the Department of Justice leadership under the Trump administration had consistently lauded Mr. Ravenny's work. For example, in a March 21, 2025 email announcing his promotion, Deputy Assistant Attorney General Drew Ensign remarked that, quote, Mr. Ravenny is a top-notch litigator who has taken on some of oil's most challenging cases over the past nearly 15 years, including as assistant director for over 7 years, and, quote, multiple stints as counsel in the civil division front office, having, quote, led and litigated complex cases protecting our immigration authorities, developed sanctuary city affirmative cases, and worked closely with our many excellent attorneys handling district court litigation. Uh-oh. What do you mean what just happened, Uka? He said, what just happened? I don't know. So, listen to this. He received an excellent rating for every year that he's worked at the department since 2010. And on top of that, he is a recipient of 9 civil division awards, including 3 under the first Trump administration. I'm not going to keep going on that. You get the idea. They are laying the case in this complaint that he is not a partisan attorney, that he is an excellent attorney, that he has operated under all administrations, Republican and Democratic, right? So here's what happened, and here's what you need to know. There was a slight glitch on YouTube. Okay, got it. It froze. You went silent, but it came back. Okay, good. All right. So on Friday, March 14th, 2025, Mr. Ravenny received notice of his promotion to acting deputy director of the Office of Immigration Litigation. That same day, following news reports that the president intended to sign a presidential proclamation invoking the Alien Enemies Act, Mr. Ravenny was summoned to a meeting by Deputy Assistant Attorney General of Oil, Drew Ensign. At that meeting were Principal Assistant Deputy Attorney General Emil Bovey, Counselor to the Deputy Attorney General James McHenry, Associate Deputy Attorney General Paul Perkins, Drew Ensign, Acting Director for Oil, and Mr. Ravenny's direct supervisor, August Flinte. And there were other oil attorneys there as well, okay? So at this meeting, Emil Bovey indicated to those in attendance that the Alien Enemies Act proclamation would soon be signed, and that 1 or more planes containing individuals subject to the Alien Enemies Act would be taking off over the weekend. This was on a Friday, meaning Saturday, March 15th and Sunday, March 16th. Bovey did not provide further details, right? But Bovey stressed to all in attendance that, and I'm quoting, that the planes needed to take off no matter what. Bovey then made a remark concerning the possibility that a court order would enjoin those removals before they could be effectuated. So what are they saying? They are saying that there might be there might be some court filings trying to block those planes. Hold on, invisible string. Hold on. Just these are no planes that are missing, but hold on. I'm gonna walk you through it. So listen. So Emil Bovee is telling them that before those planes can take off, there may be another court case that is filed alongside them trying to prevent them from taking off. Okay. Bovee stated that DOJ would need to consider telling the courts, quote unquote, fuck you, and ignore such court order. Hello, Raja. Mr. Ravenny perceived that others in the room looked stunned, and he observed awkward, nervous glances among people in the room. Silence overtook the room. Mr. Ravenny and others were quickly ushered out of the room. Notwithstanding Bovee's directive, Mr. Ravenny left the meeting understanding that DOJ would tell the Department of Homeland Security to follow all court orders. He was like, there's no way this is real, right? In 1 hour, Raja, 1 hour. So Mr. Ravenny was stunned by Bovee's statement because, to Mr. Ravenny's knowledge, no one in DOJ leadership in any administration had ever suggested the Department of Justice could blatantly ignore court orders, especially with a quote unquote, fuck you. Mr. Ravenny was in disbelief because, on the contrary, the DOJ consistently advises its clients of their obligation to follow court orders, not to ignore them. Mr. Ravenny knew that it was absurd and unlawful to do otherwise, a proposition that Mr. Ravenny felt even more certain of after a brief conversation with his supervisor, August Fuente, shortly after the meeting, right? What's up, Don Juan? So listen, what's also happening at this very same time is March 14th is the first day that Kilmar Abrego Garcia knows that he is in Texas and they are going to put his ass on a plane tomorrow going to Venezuela, because up until that moment, the ICE people have been telling Kilmar Abrego Garcia that when he gets to Texas, he will go before an immigration judge. But when he's there, this is the first time that he's finding out you're not going before a judge. Right, El Salvador. Wait, CCOT. Yes, to El Salvador. The Venezuelans went to El Salvador. Thank you. So like hyped up. Yes, they were going to El Salvador. So he has called his wife and told her, because she has had trouble even finding him in the system this whole time, right? I'm going to pause for just a second. And whatever, dude, I sent you a direct invitation to join the panel. Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am perfect. So you are saying that the measles outbreak doesn't have anything to do with the measles vaccine?
Yeah, the recent outbreak doesn't have to do with kids not getting the measles vaccine. I know that's the misconception, but it doesn't have anything to do with what Robert F. Kennedy's saying. Do
you know what percentage of the measles cases are those people unvaccinated?
I believe a very small amount.
94%. 94% according to the CDC today. Would you like to see the CDC's website?
No.
No?
I believe you. No, I believe you.
Yeah.
Believe you.
So 94% of the measles cases that are happening in this country, those people are not vaccinated.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So it does have to do with the vaccine.
Okay. Appreciate you having me up. Thanks for clarifying.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining. Okie doke. Moving on. Yeah, we love facts here. And the thing is, I literally just pulled up the CDC website today at the beginning of this live. The map that you see on the screen is from the CDC website. I took the picture of that map today. So, yeah, it's very important that people understand that these things are related and they are important, right? All right, so let me go. It doesn't even matter to me what he was going to say the reason was. Like, I don't even care, right? I do love the fact that he was able to say, well, damn, okay. Like, I love the fact that he did not fight me on it, didn't call me a liar, didn't whatever, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, this is important, folks. So I appreciate that. He's got like 11,000 followers. I want him to have real information and facts. You know, it's critically important. Yeah. So Beach Bum Wannabe. So for example, I'm over 50. I need to be revaccinated. Why? Because when I was born and when I was a kid, they were only giving 1 dose. Now they're giving 2, right? And so it's important. And so some people have only had 1 dose of the vaccine. And so, yeah, there's a lot of different reasons. All right. Okay. So at this time, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, I just want you all to understand what's happening at the same time. Okay. So on this Friday, the 14th, Erez Ravini is sitting in a meeting where DOJ leadership is saying to them, hey, listen, these planes are going to take off in the next 2 days. They must take off. This must happen. And by the way, there is a possibility, that there's going to be a court order trying to prevent this. And you may need to say, fuck you. Thanks, Audra. And ignore the judge's orders, right? Which is absolutely crazy. And at the same time, Kilmar Abrego Garcia is finding out, oh shit, I'm about to be deported to El Salvador and to a country I'm not supposed to go to. And I'm not going to see an immigration judge like I've been being told I'm going to see an immigration judge, right? So these things are all happening at the same time, simultaneously, one in Texas, one in Washington, D.C., okay? So, So then here's what happens. So Mr. Ravini even goes to his direct supervisor afterwards, and he was like, hey, what? We're not really going to do that. And August Flinte is like, no, we're gonna follow court orders, surely. And then this happened. Yes, we are responsible for any abuse that happens in those facilities. Yes, the answer is yes. So then Mr. Ravini's disbelief following the meeting with Bovee is now a relic of a different time. Over the next 3 weeks, Mr. Ravini was involved in 3 separate cases involving the legality of the administration's immigration removal operations under its newly implemented priorities, during which time he directly witnessed and reported 1, DOJ officials undermining the rule of law by ignoring court orders. Number 2, DOJ officials presenting quote unquote legal arguments with no basis. Number 3, high-ranking DOJ and DHS officials misrepresenting facts presented before the courts. And 4, DOJ officials directing Mr. Ravini to misrepresent facts in one of these cases in violation of Mr. Ravini's legal and ethical duties as an officer of the court. Mr. Ravini's internal reporting and ultimately his refusal to obey this illegal order directly resulted in his suspension and termination. So this is the first court case. All right, you ready? So this is JGG versus Trump. So at 1:12 a.m. on Saturday, March 15th, 2025. So that's right after the stroke of midnight. So Friday, he's appointed, promoted, told these fights are going to happen. So that night, an hour and 12 minutes after midnight, guess what happened? The ACLU filed a suit on behalf of 5 Venezuelan men that were facing imminent deportation under the Alien Enemies Act for a temporary restraining order to prevent their removal. Okay? When Mr. Ravini woke up that morning, Saturday, March the 15th, he reviewed the plaintiff's motion and learned that the removals were allegedly to prisons in El Salvador known for their torture and human rights abuses. Now, what's crazy about this is a DOJ attorney, right? And he's finding out for the first time through the ACLU's motion where these people are being taken. Emil Bovey said these people were being deported, but never told them where they were being deported to. So he's learning about it through the ACLU. Okay. So after learning from the plaintiff's counsel that at least one plaintiff was reportedly already aboard a removal flight, Judge James Boasberg of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia entered an ex parte temporary restraining order prohibiting the government from removing the 5 named plaintiffs and set a hearing for 4 p.m. Okay, so follow that. This is what happened. So that morning, the judge said, here's a temporary restraining order. No, you can't take these folks. Okay. And then he set a hearing for 4 o'clock that afternoon. And then the court later changed that to 5 in order to hear a broader argument on the temporary restraining order. Shortly after Judge Boasberg entered the initial temporary restraining order, Mr. Ravini informed, I went off YouTube. No, I don't know why, because it says I'm still on. I don't know why, because it says I'm still on. I'm going to end up having to switch from Restream probably because they just glitch too much. All right. So shortly after Judge Boasberg entered the initial temporary restraining order, Mr. Ravini informed the district court via email at 10:18 in the morning that its order had been received and quote, disseminated to the relative executive branch agencies. So Saturday morning at 10 in the morning, right? Great, Uka. At 10:18 in the morning, Ravini says the court told DHS, your order has been received, and I have told DHS that there's a temporary restraining order. Okay? Honey, Sin, he ain't even here no more. What's up, Slick Nasty? He's not even here no more. I've already blocked and muted. He couldn't answer you if he wanted to. So, at the 5 p.m. hearing later that day, Drew Ensign represented to the court. So Drew Ensign, no worries, Nene. So Drew Ensign is who's representing the government at the 5 p.m. hearing on the larger temporary restraining order. Got that? And so while that was happening, Mr. Ravini was listening in to the court case on the public line. So there's actually a public line that you can call into and listen to the district court cases that are happening. And what Mr. Ravini was doing was he was emailing the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of State at the same time about what was developing in the court case. Okay. So at this hearing, Judge Boasberg said, quote, the plaintiffs expected planes to be departing within the last couple of hours. And the judge specifically asked Drew Ensign, quote, if any of the named plaintiffs are in fact on any plane that has departed, end quote. Drew Ensign assured the court that none of the named plaintiffs would be removed during the pending temporary restraining order. So Judge Boasberg says, does that mean that the plaintiffs, quote, are either not on the planes or that they will not be removed from the planes and will be brought back once the planes land in El Salvador, end quote. Drew Ensign replies back and says, quote, I don't know the status of the planes. If there are removal flights, the 5 would not be on them, end quote. When Judge Boasberg asked, quote, whether any deportations or removals were imminent, as in, quote, the next 24 to 48 hours, end quote, Drew Ensign told the court, quote, I don't know the answer to that question, end quote. Now, we all know the answer to that question because Emil Bovee told them the day before that these planes were going to take off over the weekend. So when Drew Ensign stood in court in front of a judge and said, I don't know the answer to that question, he was lying to the court. As an attorney for the Department of Justice, he lied to a federal judge and said, I don't know the answer to your question. Simply delaying so that these planes could take off. The taxpayers pay for it all, Jackson. So, Mr. Ravenny reasonably believes Ensign's statement to the court that he did not know whether the removals would take place, quote, unquote, in the next 24 to 48 hours was false. Ensign had been present in the previous day's meeting when Emil Bovee stated clearly that one or more planes containing individuals subject to the AEA would be taking off over the weekend, quote unquote, no matter what. So Ensign then added, quote, we can certainly investigate that and report that back to you, end quote. And when Judge Boasberg asked how soon Drew Ensign could get that information, Ensign said the government could, quote unquote, certainly include that information in a document that they were planning to file tomorrow night, which would be Sunday night. The plaintiff's lawyer, the ACLU, stressed the urgency of the situation and said, from his understanding, from people on the ground, from different sources, the planes are going right now, taking Venezuelans to El Salvador, and that 2 flights may have already taken off during this hearing. And the ACLU urged the court to, quote, issue a class action temporary restraining order to avoid any more harm. So, what do you mean, prior military service? So, listen, I know you guys want to ask me questions, but you're asking me questions that will probably be answered as I continue to go through, okay? So, at that point, Judge Boasberg adjourned the hearing until 6 p.m. to, quote unquote, let Mr. Ensign do some digging. And then the court specified, quote, Mr. Ensign, I will want to know, have planes in fact, is deportation of people under the proclamation pursuant to the AEA in motion now, and will it be for the next 48 hours, end quote. Drew Ensign says to the judge, quote, we can do that, Your Honor, end quote. So the court adjourned at 5:22 p.m. and they were supposed to be back at 6 p.m. Got it? So Drew Ensign then goes and talks to DHS, Department of State, and the DOJ leadership during this break. Mr. Ravenny was not included in that conversation. Okay. However, prior to 5:24 p.m., DOJ attorneys, including Drew Ensign and Mr. Ravenny, received an email from the ACLU citing public reporting of flight information and stating that they had reason to believe that people were on planes for imminent deportation. And according to public reports for various websites that track the whereabouts of planes in real time, at least 2 planes took off from Texas after the hearing started, the first at 5:26 p.m. and the second at 5:24 p.m., 5:45 p.m., en route to what online sources speculated was a final destination of El Salvador. This is what's so crazy. So Mr. Ravenny has gotten an email along with Drew Ensign, right, from the ACLU saying, hey, your planes have taken off, one during this damn hearing and another one at 5:45, right? So Ravenny knows that Drew Ensign now knows the answer to this question. So when we go back to court at 6 o'clock, Drew Ensign should be able to tell the judge the damn truth, right? Except he does not. So at 6 p.m., following their adjournment, Drew Ensign provided Judge Boasberg with no information about the flight departures. Specifically, Drew Ensign told the court, quote, I don't have many details to share, explaining that his quote unquote clients, that would be DHS, you guys, DHS and the Department of State are the clients of the DOJ. And he said that his clients, quote unquote, said that, quote, operational details raised potential national security issues, particularly ones if discussed with a public line, end quote. So Judge Boasberg said, okay, well, listen, if it's a problem of national security with a public line, we'll just shut down the public line and let's go. You can give me the details. Simple enough, right? Judge Boasberg was like, I can handle that. So they disconnected the public phone line, right? And then they just did a regular in-camera proceeding. But even after the court did that, Ensign failed to provide any information about the flights. And then he said, quote, we would have to sort out what can still be provided in camera. They suggested that as a way to potentially provide some details, but I do not personally have those details right now, end quote. Once it became clear that Drew Ensign was not going to give the court the information, the court restored the public line. So now Ravenny can listen in again, okay? The ACLU told the court, quote, we understand that 2 flights went to El Salvador this afternoon and that a 3rd flight is scheduled for 6:23, so only in a matter of minutes, end quote. After several minutes of legal argument, the court found that a quote unquote class certification is warranted. So that means they got a class-wide temporary restraining order, which means nobody on those planes should have gone anywhere. And the planes that took off should have just been, when they landed, should have been refueled, turned the fuck around, and brought all of those people back. That's what should have happened if the DOJ was following the court's orders. So when a court issues an injunction against the federal government, okay, the normal practice is for the DOJ lawyers to work with agency counsel in developing guidance explaining what the government must do in order to comply. So what that means is the DOJ works with the general counsel for the Department of Homeland Security, and they outline what the steps are that need to happen in order for the DHS to comply with the judge's orders, okay? So, and then after that, those relevant agencies disseminate that information to their people, okay? because Mr. Ravenny's name was on the court papers that the government filed in the 3 cases at issue, and because his role as acting deputy director for oil, he had a responsibility to confirm that the government was abiding by the court orders in those cases. All right. With this in mind, at 6:14 p.m., Mr. Ravenny, again, listening on the public line, emailed attorneys with the department, the Office of Immigration Litigation. That's oil. Yeah. So the Office of Immigration Litigation is a department within the DOJ that handles immigration cases. You're welcome. So Mr. Ravenny was again listening on the public line, right? And he emailed the attorneys for the Department of Homeland Security, the attorneys for ICE, the attorneys for the Department of State, and he informed all of them, along with other DOJ attorneys, that, quote, judge is certifying a nationwide class as we speak. It is likely a class-wide TRO is imminent, end quote. At 6:44 p.m., he sent a follow-up email, quote, the judge is presently issuing a class-wide temporary restraining order. Can folks confirm for us if at the moment any individuals subject to the Alien Enemies Act was being staged for removal or are presently in the air as part of removal, but not yet having landed and disembarked? So let me just say this. He would normally be following this case, and he would normally have disseminated the information, but he would not normally be sending follow-up email after following email after following email, right? Except for he's been told that DOJ should say, fuck you, and sorry. So hold on, y'all. It's about Bella. Okay. Sorry, it's about Bella. You know, I got to take care of my booze. All right. So at this point, he's sending the emails because he's saying, you all need to let me know that you are following the order of the court. Someone needs to communicate this to me because I am telling you all what the court is saying. And I am telling the court that I am telling you what the court is saying. Can you tell me that you all are actually abiding by what the court says, right? So at 6:44 p.m., he also texts his supervisor, August Flente, and he references Bovey's remark that it might be necessary to tell the court, quote unquote, fuck you. Mr. Flente acknowledges Bovey's comment with a joke, referencing the possibility that either he or Mr. Ravenny could be fired for reporting up their chain of command concerns that a court order may have been violated. Salam Abu Malik. So his direct supervisor is saying, hey, listen, if we report up the chain of command that court orders aren't being followed, we might get fired. 2 minutes later, Mr. Ravenny emailed the Department of Homeland Security, and he emailed them the substance of Judge Boasberg's oral order concerning the class certification and the temporary restraining order. Quote, the class is, quote, all non-citizens in U.S. custody subject to the AEA, end quote. A minute order with more specifics will issue. Please confirm receipt of this email and let us know ASAP on the questions below concerning removals not yet effectuated, including those involving folks in the air, end quote. 2 more minutes later at 6:48, he sent another email. Specifically ordered us to not remove anyone in the class and to return anyone in the air, end quote. After additional legal argument, Judge Boasberg stated that, quote, a TRO was appropriate for the class members, right? And prohibiting the removal of the class members. He also explained, the judge explained that the court was, quote, required to act immediately and could not wait any longer, particularly in light of the ACLU's information unrebutted by the government that flights are actively departing and plan to depart, right? So he told Drew Ensign, the judge told Drew Ensign, quote, you shall inform your clients of this immediately, and that any plane containing these folks that is going to take off or is in the air needs to be returned to the United States. But those people need to be returned to the United States. However that's accomplished, whether turning around a plane or not embarking anyone on the plane or those people covered by this on the plane, I leave to you. But this is something that you need to make sure is complied with immediately. At 7:04 p.m., Mr. Ravini, once again, emails the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of State, and he says this, quote, as we await the written order, clarifying our understanding of the injunction, as clarified at the end, no one subject to AEA in our custody can be removed, and anyone in the air should be returned unless they have a Title VIII final order. Please confirm receipt and let us know what, if anything, is happening. Thank you. The Department of Homeland Security and the Department of State's attorneys did not respond to him. Can you imagine? And his name is on the court paperwork. He followed up with DHS again at 7:18, 14 minutes later, requesting once again confirmation that no one without a final order of removal would be removed from the planes, including the one that was scheduled to land at 7:20, noted, quote, we need to address this ASAP to avoid contempt. Again, he received no response. At 7:26 p.m., the court issued the print order, right? The written order. At 7:27 p.m., Mr. Ravini sent another email to the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of State with a copy of the written order. At 7:31 p.m., Drew Ensign emailed James Percival, Senior Counsel to the Secretary of Homeland Security, and Joseph Mazzara, who's the Acting General Counsel for the Department of Homeland Security, informing them of the injunction, and 2 minutes later, he emailed the Department of State Counsel. Both of these emails, Mr. Ravini and his supervisor were copied on, and it informed the recipients of the oral and the written injunctions. They informed the agency counsel that their clients were required to not remove anyone with the class definition, and reflected that Drew Ensign understood the judge to be requiring that no one be departed and no one be taken off the planes that had already taken off. Erez Ravini was not copied on a single response to that email. At 10:13 p.m., after he and Mr. Flente exchanged numerous emails and he had no information about Department of Homeland Security's compliance, Mr. Ravini again emailed the Department of Homeland Security to ask about whether guidance had been disseminated, right? Because the DOJ, this is why you need a Democratic Congress, y'all. The DOJ is not going to prosecute its own people when they are corrupt, and it was coming from the top down. Who's going to bring the charges? This is why you need a Democratic Congress. This is why, come the midterms, it needs to be Democratic majority in the House and the Senate. The DOJ is not going to hold itself accountable for the shit it's doing. So listen to this. Shortly after that, the Department of Homeland Security they responded, and they said that they were withholding the issuance of guidance, waiting on a decision from Pam Bondi. So follow me. Erez Ravini has told them 4 hours ago about this order from the court. And they said, we're not disseminating your guidance to the people that are sending these people out, because we're waiting until Pam Bondi tells us whether we should follow this order or not. How about that? They said literally, we are waiting on a decision from the Attorney General as to whether or not we are going to tell the people on the ground to bring those people back. Yeah, we know that you told us what the judge said, but we're waiting for Pam Bondi to tell us, do we obey the judge's fucking order? For the next few hours on the night of March 15th, Mr. Ravini exchanged emails with August Flente, his supervisor, and engaged in multiple phone calls with Drew Ensign. And he was concerned about two things. Number one, that deplaning any passengers would violate the court's order. And two, they need to notify the court that the government has complied with those orders or its interpretation of their orders. So around midnight, listen to this. This is what they came up with. We're going to tell the court that we didn't violate the order because the planes left before the written order was done. Even though the verbal order was done, we're just going to tell the court that since it wasn't in writing, it wasn't a real order. That's not how court orders work, guys. When a judge says it out of their fucking mouth, that's the order. That's the order. But they said, no, because your order wasn't written. Nah. While Mr. Ravini disagreed with that interpretation, that there was no violation of a court order, the fact that Emil Bovee, a senior DOJ official, was willing to enter. So listen, let me tell you what they said. They said that Emil Bovee was going to go to the court and tell the judge that. That's what they said. They told Mr. Ravini that Emil Bovee was going to appear before the court and tell the judge that. And they told Mr. Ravini to type up the notice of appearance that Emil Bovee was going to come and explain this. So Mr. Ravini was like, well, shit, if Emil Bovee, a senior DOJ official, is going to go to court and argue this, maybe there's something I don't know, right? But what he knew was that neither he nor his staff would be put in the position of trying to defend this argument. You're welcome, Roach. So on Sunday, March the 16th at 12:23 a.m., so like in the middle of the night from Saturday to Sunday, Drew Ensign then tells Mr. Ravini by phone, you know what? Emil Bovee's not going to do that. He's not going to be filing the notice of appearance, and he's not going to be the one explaining the court's position. So Mr. Ravini and his supervisor exchanged several more emails because now there's this non-compliance with the court order, and Emil Bovee is not going to appear, nor is he going to explain it to the court. So Mr. Ravini anticipated that the government would be held in contempt of court, and they were. And so at 12:33 a.m., Drew Ensign called Mr. Ravini, informing him that DOJ leadership, listen to this, did not appear to be in a hurry to file a notice of appearance. Mr. Ravini responded that the government would likely face a show cause motion seeking an explanation as to why the government should not be held in contempt of court. That same morning at 8 a.m., 8:07 a.m., Mr. Ravini emailed the Department of Homeland Security, right, they were slow walking it, and the Department of State, asking them for confirmation of their compliance with Judge Boasberg's oral and written orders, specifically asking for the status of the individuals on each of the previous day's 3 flights. Mr. Ravini's email included a reminder that to comply with the injunction, no one should have been deplaned, and anyone that had been deplaned needed to be returned to the United States. Mr. Ravini also asked whether conversations on these issues were happening at a higher level of leadership between DOJ, DHS, and DOS. Mr. Ravini received no response. No fucking response from any of the attorneys at the Department of State, at the Department of Homeland Security, or at the Department of Justice. So since no one had emailed him or given him notice, right, his concerns that DHS had been directed to violate the court orders began to escalate. Imagine that. So early in the morning of Sunday, March 16th, President Bukele of El Salvador actually posted on social media, listen to this, y'all. The president of El Salvador put out a fucking tweet that said, quote unquote, oopsie, too late. And Marco Rubio reposted it. So the Secretary of State reposted the president of El Salvador's tweet that said, oopsie, too late. Right? So soon after that happened, the president of El Salvador posted the video of the men that were being escorted from the planes into CCOT. That meant they were saying, you're too late. These people are already here and they're already in CCOT. It's too late for you to get them. They're already here. They're already off the plane. They're already in my prison. That's what he was referring to. So as the day continued, Mr. Ravini, he emailed asking for confirmation of the status of the removal flights, and nobody answered. They just remained unanswered, right? Mr. Ravini reported his concerns to his supervisor, August Flente, that based on public reporting and the tweets from social media and the failure of DHS to answer any of his questions, that it appeared the government had violated the court's order and removed individuals to El Salvador. Eventually, listen to this, the attorney for the Department of Homeland Security called Mr. Ravini and said that DOJ leadership, Pam Bondi, had advised the Department of Homeland Security to deplane the flights in El Salvador. And he told Mr. Ravini, go ask DOJ leadership if you got any questions, bruh. Pam Bondi told us, take them people off the plane. If you got questions, go see your boss. That's what the attorney for the Department of Homeland Security told him. So through the course of events on Sunday, March the 16th, it became clear to Mr. Ravini that the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of State were receiving contrary directions from someone else at DOJ to take actions in violation of the court order. By 2 p.m., the identity of that individual became clear. In an email from Acting Assistant Attorney General Yakov Roth to Drew Ensign, August Flente, and Mr. Ravini, Roth explained that Emil Bovee had advised the Department of Homeland Security that under the court order, it was permissible to deplane those individuals that had departed U.S. airspace before the written order had issued on the docket. Emil Bovee told them it was okay to take those people off the plane. That's what he said. Crazy. And this is the dude that the GOP Senate knew did this, and they made him an appellate judge. So that afternoon, the DOJ filed a notice saying that the defendants, quote, were promptly notified of the court's temporary restraining order issued in the morning and the 7:26 p.m. minute order that temporarily enjoined any removals under the proclamation that had already removed from the U.S. territory. And by the day's end, multiple media reports and posting from senior government officials in both the U.S. and El Salvador, hey, Irvet, confirmed that all of them on 2 of the 3 planes that had taken off were in CCOT prison. So I want you all to be clear. Kilmar Abrego Garcia and those other 220 Venezuelans were never supposed to take off. Our Department of Justice knew that. Our Department of Justice leadership told the Department of Homeland Security to say, fuck you to the courts and violate the law to deport those people. And then the GOP Senate confirmed that DOJ official to become an appellate judge. I don't know what you want me to call out Hamas about, Mr. Fear. No, I don't need to bring you up on my panel. Exactly. Impeach, remove, and prosecute. 100%. Yes. So Emil Bovee, right? Emil Bovee is the DOJ official that told the Department of Homeland Security to violate the court's order. And this is the guy that Trump nominated to be an appellate judge. And when he went through his Senate confirmation hearing, because the majority is Republican, those GOP senators confirmed him as an appellate judge, even though they knew he violated the court order, because the whistleblower complaint had already been filed and already sent to Congress. That's what I mean. That's what had happened. Yep. So next, on March the 17th, so that's that Monday morning, right? The court held a hearing to, I don't know, Chris, I don't remember right now, because this was like last summer. So I don't remember. Yeah, they all knew. They all knew, guys. They all knew. But the majority, they didn't need the Dems. This is what I keep telling y'all. Listen, when you are the majority in the Senate, you do not need the Dems to confirm political appointments. You don't need them. You don't need them to confirm appointments. You obviously don't know what we're talking about, Mr. Fear. We're not talking about Venezuela and the capturing of Maduro. We're not even talking about that. Yeah, Rogue, they just need a majority. Correct. So next. So on March the 17th, that's on that Monday, the court held a hearing to determine whether or not the government had complied with the orders. The court issued a minute order demanding the government state, quote, whether and in what form it would provide answers to the court's questions regarding the particulars of the flights. The order further stated that, quote, if the government takes the position that it will not provide the information to the court under any circumstances, it must support such position. So let me help. So Mr. Fear, that's not the way that freedom of speech works. You don't have freedom of speech in my live. That's why you're muted right now. Yes, Ronald, correct. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom from the consequences of your speech. Okay? Which Mr. Fear is discovering now as he's in my live and he's now muted. And so is Eddie. Why is Eddie muted? Because Eddie is spamming my comments. Girl, I know. I saw him in the request when he first came up in here. And he's going to sit right up in there. All right. So, the rest of what follows, right, get cozy, take a nap, whatever. So listen, that is just the first of the 3 cases that he was involved in. That was the first of 3 cases. And because he refused to break the law, they fired him. I'm not going to read the whole thing to y'all because it's pages and pages and pages, but it is in my link tree. And what I will tell you is he has the receipts. Yeah, that was just the first case. That was the Kilmar Abrego Garcia case. There's another case after that and another case after that. Oh, appreciate that. Thank you, Christine. So in the exhibits, right, he has an email from Drew Ensign. He's got all the stuff. He presented the when he testified before Congress, that joker had the text messages, the emails, everything that he sent. No, he did not resign. He was let go. He was terminated from his position. A lot of other people resigned. He did not. All right. But this is why this is why I say that people need to stop asking, when is someone going to be held accountable? And the answer to that question is, someone is going to be held accountable when we have a majority Democrat in the House and the Senate, and then we have a separate but equal branch of government that is willing to hold people accountable for their oaths of office. That is when. If you want to see people held accountable in office, then we need to ensure that there's a Democratic majority in the House and in the Senate this year. That's it. And that's the only way that if you impeach, remove, and prosecute people, you ensure that the next person they appoint isn't just going to be rubber stamped on through, because they go through the same confirmation process as before. And the beautiful thing about that is it is actually doable, this midterms. And they know that it's doable. They know that it's doable. And that's why they're scared. Percy, that's actually not true for congressional candidates. How many congressional candidates have you looked up, Percy? Because yesterday we sat up here and looked up about 6 or 7 of them together. And only one of them mentioned Trump. The rest of them were actually talking about policies. And then the dude running for Congress in Kentucky, not only was he talking about policy, he literally had all of his policy proposals linked and outlined on his site. So what you're saying is just not accurate. All right. So listen, we are down to, policies for paid family leave, policies for housing, policies for, um, um, the elderly and caregivers, policies for newborns and new parents, policies for affordable housing and first-time home buyers. Like a shit ton of policies. Yep. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So when you say Democrats are only running on anti-Trump, that's actually not correct. I literally went over here and pulled up 6 or 7 candidates yesterday and looked at their websites. Like, facts really do matter, y'all. And just spewing nonsense for the sake of spewing nonsense isn't helpful. And let me be clear, proximity to power does not make you untouchable. It doesn't make you safe. If you are not in the top 1% of this country, you are in the same boat as everybody else. I don't care what you think. You're in the same boat as everyone else. Percy, do you live in a Democratic city? Do you live in a Democratic city? See you later, Scotty. Yeah, so I'm asking, Percy, do you live in a Democratic city? It's taking you a really long time to answer, so I'm guessing probably not. Just saying, probably not. You're just repeating a talking point. That's all you're doing is repeating a GOP talking point. And it doesn't work. It's not effective. So I want to look up a couple of different things. I want to talk to you about a couple of different things. We are now to the point where I want to talk about the children of Dilley. And these images came from a ProPublica report where one of them actually spoke to these children. They even obtained a partial letter from these children. These children are actually in either are in or were in the Dilley Detention Center. And so we're going to talk about that. What I'm not going to talk about is the reports of the blue butterfly section, where they are allegedly keeping teenage girls in the detention center separate from everybody else, where nobody else can visit them or see them. And the reason why I'm not going to talk about that is because I don't have enough information about that from like, I haven't, like, I've heard people talking about it. But that's all that I've seen. So what I would rather do is talk about the children of Dilley from the ProPublica article that I know is fact-based, reliable, unquestionable, and all of that, right? So that's what I would rather do. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, let me also share what I'm going to do now. This is the time where we do River to the Sea time. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up some folks on the panel, and I am going to bring up some folks that are in the States and then somebody that is in the river to the sea. And this is the time where if you are able to give your magic beans, those TikTok coins, to help them out, this is the time to do that. Okay. They had really heavy torrential rains yesterday that were horrible. Lots of flooding in the tents again. And it's cold. It's winter there, right? So so things are really rough over there right now. So just letting you know. So if you have the ability, to give TikTok coins, now is the time to do that. Is Mo in here? If Mo is in here, if you could put it in the chat if you could put it in the chat for folks to just like stay on mute or whatever, it'll be fine. So Carla, I'm going to use you as a space holder to balance out the panel. So Carla is in the US.
Hey Danny, and really quick, there is a fake Mo profile that tried to join A Money's last night. So
Okay.
I'll look out for that too.
Okay. Appreciate you. Thanks. All right. So my Mo is actually a friend with me. So I always know when that Mo actually joins. Okay. And it's this Mo. And Mo, the money that was sent to me for the Ramadan baskets transferred to my bank account. So now I can use your link and send it to you today.
Appreciate it. And I was gonna say, my friends told me about this fake account, and when they told him that he's fake, look, I got a screenshot of what his response was. Can you imagine? Wait. He's so rude that he started cursing them and said that he's the real one and that this account is my backup account, which is his backup account.
Whatever,
That's
man.
what he's saying in Arabic. He's been a smart. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I
definitely
can't
not.
take this. So guys, the username is different, the reposts are different, everything is just different. I don't know how Dani would do that.
Hello, Raja. Okay, so folks, here's what I'm gonna ask you to do, okay? Is I'm gonna do three at a time. Oh shit. Sorry. I didn't mean to do that, Blue Honey Pot. My bad. Okay, so I'm going to do three at a time, folks. So there's three folks from the US. So Carla, Witch, and Chris are in the US. Alaikum salam. So it is Mohammed, Raja, and Mo. Hey, Mohammed. So it's those, yes. Miss you too. Yes, Blue Honey Pot, please. So yeah, if you all could do the deal, this would be amazing. This is the time. Can I do? I'm trying to figure out what I need to do. Can I do? It's okay. It's going to be okay. So Mo, Raja, and Mohammed are diagonal on the screen. And so those are our three folks that live between the river and the sea. This is Ramadan, right? So this is a time when it's really amazing if you're able to do coins, because it helps them be able to eat and be able to celebrate Ramadan and that sort of thing. So, hey Bilal, and so I can tell you right now, I have some other folks that are in the request that I need to make sure come up today. I need to make sure that Abu Malik comes up. He does not have a direct link. I need to make sure that Allah Shak comes up, because even though he does have a direct link and it is in my link tree, He also has a significant heart condition and needs to get out of Gaza in order to get the treatment that he needs. And right now, it's very difficult to get out. They've been trying to get a hold of the WHO to get him out, and it hasn't been very successful. So just kind of letting everybody kind of know the situation that these folks are in. If you are watching me on Substack or YouTube or Facebook, and you desire to help the folks that are in Palestine, you can go to my link tree. It's in the about section of my profile. And there's a whole section that says Palestinian support links, and you can give directly. Okay. So that's another way that you can help. All right. I've got some, I just want to make sure that I've got folks, for those of you all that don't know, Mo is working diligently to make sure that his family is okay for Ramadan, but he is collecting to help 30 other families around him be able to get their Ramadan baskets.
And Dani, thank you for mentioning that. Actually, sorry to interrupt. With the goal was 30 or 32. Now, alhamdulillah, we're at 33, and people are still sending, mashallah. I was supposed to be going to the market today, but we had a rainstorm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, inshallah. So we can distribute this as soon as possible, because I'm seeing the cases that I'm gonna, inshallah, be helping. And yeah, yani, it's this. I can't describe it. Their case is absolutely miserable.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And the post is on my account.
Yeah, so hit all three of these guys have direct links. They are on their TikTok profiles as well as being in my link tree. So like I said, Mo is going to the market, and he is getting food and supplies to be able to help other families who are not able to get their Ramadan basket. Our friend Raja there in the middle, stroking his beard. He is he's a member of Palestinian Press. He's also a dad and has beautiful kiddos that rely on him. His daughter graduated high school in the middle of the G side, and then Mohammed OS has newborn twins that are not quite 2 months old yet. I think they're like 6-7 weeks old, something like that. And he also has a toddler, baby Osama, who is coming up on 3. So of course, newborns, you all know what it takes to take care of newborn babies, right? There's formula, there's milk, there's all those types of things. And so it all matters. It all matters. And so we try really, really hard to make sure that we, right, 6, 7, invisible. I can't believe it, you. Yeah. And yeah, they're all handsome and amazing. And we love them dearly. So for those of you all who do not know, winters in Palestine are very rough. There's lots of rainstorms, and it is very cold. And many of them are in tents. As you can see, Raj is in a tent. And it is very, very difficult. As you can see, guys, the numbers are going down because TikTok changes my algorithm. As soon as I start to bring up folks that are in Pali, TikTok fucks with my algorithm and brings people down, takes my numbers down. So liking and commenting and sharing really helps keep things going. So if you guys could do that, that would be amazing. And what else can I tell you all? If you don't know just how cold it gets and how wet and how rainy and significant it is, there have been, I haven't checked this month, but I know as of last month, there were 5 Palestinian babies that had passed and lost their lives due to the weather and due to the cold in the winter. So it's just understanding that that's a real thing, and it really does impact people. It really does. It really is significant, right? So anything that you can do is greatly appreciated. And if you have the ability to recharge them coins and pop them on over there, please make sure that you do that. Other people that I'm going to bring up is Abu Malik, Allah Shak Shak, I believe my Bilal is here, and so Bilal will definitely be up. Yeah, there you can get. So the picture behind Mo is what happens when you're not able to eat.
Then this guy isn't just was suffering from bad food or something. He got sick, allergic, and somehow I don't know much details about his case, but what he passed. No, this guy is now he passed away because of two things. First one is his delaying his medicine treatment.
Yeah.
Second thing is cold. His whole skin got allergic. I'm not gonna describe much, but he finally passed. Look at him on the right side, how handsome he was. And now he turned into this days before he passed, and now he's not there, just like many others.
Yeah.
The border, the numbers are all fake. What's happening is still happening.
Yeah.
I'm not even mentioning the boom booms, the pew pewing is happening. So
yeah, they are very much still happening, you guys. I really need for people to understand there is no ceasefire in Gaza. That's not a thing. Palestinians are still being unalived. About 600 Palestinians have been unalived since October 10th of 2025, when the supposed peace, the ceasefire started. So I need to, I know that everybody's got a lot going on. I'll do this. So the last box that I just brought, oof, what just happened? I lost somebody. Who did I lose? Hi, Bilal. Hold on. I lost somebody. And I need to balance all of my wild. He said, Red. Hey, Bilal. I am good, friend. How are you? How is your wife? Yeah, at the hospital. Okay. So for those of you all that don't know, we were really, really blessed. The other day, Bilal, what's really crazy is that most of these guys, if they reach out to me directly, it's never for them. Raja reached out because his brother had a significant, like a really large kidney stone that needed surgery. And so he reached out. He never asks for anything for himself, though. And so we were able to help give some money and help his brother get his surgery scheduled. Bilal hit me up because his wife has significant medical issues and requires physical therapy and medication. And so the other day we were able to raise a few $100s to help her pay for those services and all of that, because even though Bilal is still working as Palestinian press, he his salary just wasn't enough to cover everything, including his own medication. There's just a lot that people don't realize is a thing and that's going on. And I was listening to someone this morning, and then I do want to talk about the children at Dilley. But I also have a hard stop at 2. So I'm going to try to kind of make it work, guys. What I may have to do is do a live tonight solely dedicated to the children at Dilley. Or that be what we start with tomorrow. That's what may happen. Okay. Because I didn't plan on going over the Ravini court case and whistleblower case. And so that ate up some time that I was going to use to talk about what was happening at Dilley. But let me just share this with you all. So I don't know what the fuck I was saying before that, because I thought about, oh my God, I got to get the girl. So I'm going to run out of time. Brown eyes, don't make me lie. I don't know. That's why I said I don't know. What I will probably do is post it in Discord. And it would have to be after the kiddos go to sleep, is what it would need to be. So just give me a second, folks, as I kind of work this out. There is so much. Oh, this is what I was saying. So today I was watching, I don't know, some speaker that was talking internationally, right? And he said something that was so profound. He said, Gaza is the cemetery on which our collective humanity has died. Think about that for a second. He said, Gaza is the cemetery on which our collective humanity has died. And as soon as I heard him say that, I was like, he's spot on. Like, he's spot on. And then I heard another speaker before him talking, and he said, he was talking about the anniversary of the H cost, right? And he said, the anniversary of the H cost happens, and they stand in there and they utter the words never again. Like, that's what it says at the memorial, right? The H cost memorial. I'm trying to talk and do more than one thing at a time, and it's like I'm not being very good at it right now. I got it, Anaya. I got it. I think my kid joined TikTok to remind me that I needed to get the girls today off the bus. Hey, Wasim. So give me 1 second, y'all. I can't. Too many things at one time. People pulling at me. But he was talking, and he said, if y'all are wondering what the fuck I'm doing and why I can't talk, is I'm trying to recharge my own coins so that I can contribute. And yeah, I'm trying to do that and talk at the same time. And it's not very I'm not doing a great job. Yeah, no thanks. Okay, done. All right. So now I can also assist. Okay, so let me just share this with you all. And I'm not taking anything away from Sudan. I'm not taking anything away from the Congo. I'm not taking anything away from any of those other places. I am aware that things are horrible in many, many places. I am. I also know that I can't address everything for everyone in every situation, right? So, and I just feel like I know my situation, like I know what I've been called to and drawn to, right? There are other creators that that Sudan is their issue, right? It's their calling. It's what they're supposed to address. For me, I know it's Palestine. I know that these people were brought into my life for a reason. Like, I know that that's why I have met Raja and Mohammed and the other Mohammed and Bilal and Aziz and Wasim and Wadmi and Alal and Abu Saraj and hella habibi. Hella habibi. So amazing. And so, like, I think that everybody has to do what is for them to do, right? That's Raja's little boy that you hear saying hella Dani to me. That's like saying yo. It's like a very friendly hi. And so that's how Raja greets me. And so his kiddos are coming up and doing the same thing. So yeah. But I really want people to understand that, what in the absolute hell?
Not Blue Hannah Pot saying that I have to get one of those, referring to the kids.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, I'm gonna, so let me do this. I want to make sure that I get some more folks right up here as well. So I need to do that. What was I saying? So I feel horrible on the days where I see my Pally friends come into the live and I don't open the panel. And some days I don't open the panel because TikTok isn't doing really well. I also don't want to put a ton of pressure on my community as well. Like, I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. Because I don't want people to feel like they always have to give. I am aware that things in the States are rough. And I know that our rough is different than Gaza rough. And it's still rough. Like, it's still real. It's still real. And so for me, it's like this really delicate balancing act of not wanting to pressure the community, wanting people to understand that I honestly do believe that when you have a desire to give and you don't have the means to give, that the universe supplies someone else to be able to give in your place. Like, I just do believe that. I believe that the desire in your heart gets met. I do believe that. I also know that this community is a community of givers. This community is a community of let's rally together and take care of as many people as we can. And I love that from them. Appreciate you, Sandy, and Ruthie. I love that. And I also don't want it to be too much, if that makes sense. And then yesterday, I got really conflicted because Mohammed sent me a message and it came through. And so I saw the message, but didn't like get to click in and read it. And the message was about the flooding and the tents. And I've given my WhatsApp out to a number of people now. So sometimes I open my WhatsApp and it's a picture of someone bleeding in the street. Sometimes I open my WhatsApp and it's a smiling baby. Sometimes I open my WhatsApp and it's, hey, how are you doing? Hope that you and your family are fine. And sometimes it's, we don't have what we need for medication or whatever, and I hate to bother you, which it's never a bother. And yesterday I had this thought of, I literally don't know what I would do or how I would function if something were to happen to these folks. Because they feel like family to me. Like, they feel like real family, real friends. They feel like people that I know. They feel like if they were in the US right now, I would without hesitation open my front door and break bread and not have a fear in the world about anything. And so it's just so difficult to balance because we have a shit show in this country right now. Right? We have a real shit show in this country. And at the same time, I have a tent. I'm not living in a tent. You know, at the same time, I could take Mila to the doctor yesterday and can go get her medication. You know what I mean? So I just really want you all to understand the reason why this is so important. And right, we have a roof and we have food. And not everybody that's in my request can say that. So I just really want you all to understand I'm not pressuring anybody. What I would say is that if you have $5, $10, $20, $100, the links are the best way to help. Their links are the best way to help. And the TikTok coins, they're able to convert them into crypto, and they're able to use them for like day-to-day things that they just need and they don't have the means. So I want to also share this really quickly so that people understand. You don't have to tell me how hard the struggle is. You're welcome, 9301. You don't have to remind me. I'm aware. I am I am significantly aware. I am significantly aware. And so I wish that everyone could see them and know them the way that we see them and know them. I showed my mom the other day an internet TV thing, right? And he talks to people in Israel all the time. Have you seen this dude? And the people are so nasty to him. He's Palestinian. And I showed my mom how they literally referred to Palestinians as animals. Like they're not people. They're not, but they are. They are people. They are human beings. And I really believe that Gaza, that Palestine, the West Bank, right? I believe that Palestine has to be freed and have autonomy and be recognized in order for the world to, I don't know, right itself, if that makes sense, right? I do not believe that we can continue to exist in the manner that we exist today. The guy that I heard talking the other day, here's what he said. He said, we go into the H-Cost Museum and we say, never again, never again, never again. And he said, I want you to go tell a mother in Gaza whose child was unalived during this genocide, never again. He said, try telling the children who are now orphans that we believe in never again. Right? I got you, Mo. Mo, it's 100 that was sent to me. So when I get off of here and I get the girls off the bus, I'll send it to you on your link. Okay? All right. Love you. He said to change him out. So I'm going to change people out that have 3K now so that we can help some other people too. Okay. Give me a second, guys. I'm okay. So let me I know I need to finish my statement. But give me a second, okay? Give me a second, give me a second, give me a second. And as soon as I open up my thing, it gets a little hectic. It's a little hectic. Abu Malik, who is here that I just brought up, he's got do I have a space holder? I need a space holder.
Hi, Dani.
Hey, Wasim.
Dani.
Hello.
والله internet very rubbish. Internet crazy.
His internet's
Wasim
crazy.
sleeping.
Yes.
Internet مجنون. والله. How are you, Dani? How are you?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. How are you?
Farouk Karilla. Wish Sandy, my friend, the group. How are you? يا رب بسم الله.
They're all here.
والله internet مجنون Dani.
Yeah, the internet is rough. Yeah, we love Wasim. He's so expressive, and then he'll say, Wasim, no English, but he speaks a little English, like I do.
Zero.
He says zero English.
No, شوي zero.
He said not shway shway. Shway means a little bit.
Welcome, Sandy. والله Wasim very happy Sandy and bullying and Big Daddy and Killa and Wish. والله Wasim very very happy. أقسم بالله. والله إن شاء الله يا رب إن شاء الله. ما شاء الله.
So
Dani.
Yes.
Dani no. Wasim zero English لكن شوي. Dani no coming up the live Wasim no.
Oh, to your live. Me come to.
No, come Dani no. والله Wasim and the people from Gaza very miss you Dani up the live والله.
Yeah. I got it. Yes, I'll come.
Night.
Yeah, I can join you tonight.
ليلى ايش يعمل ليلى يا جماعه حد يساعدني. No English شوي.
I know. I got you.
شوي.
Yes, I know.
الليلة يعني الليلة what o'clock.
I don't know what time are you going live?
12 o'clock from Gaza.
12 o'clock from Gaza. Okay, so that's 5 o'clock for me. That's 5 o'clock for me.
Okay, yes.
12 o'clock in Gaza. Yes. Yes.
الله أكبر يا رب وسيم بانتظارك 11 yes Wasim 6 years open the live 6 years.
Wow. Really?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. No 6 years.
I got it. 6 o'clock.
إن شاء الله Dani.
He is Burdette.
Look, Wasim.
Smile. He said, look, I'm smiling. Yeah. So
smiling.
yes, he's smiling. Hey, Shante. Yeah. So for those of you all who
Dani 1 minute. Wasim internet مترجم.
Okay.
1 minute وجاي دقيقة.
Okay. So beside Wasim, on the other side is Abu Malik. Abu Malik has several children. He has one son in particular who is 14, only weighs about 45 pounds, suffers from significant malnutrition, suffered some fractures a while ago. And so any help that can be given is greatly appreciated. So the 3 boxes that you have right now are Allah Shak, who has significant heart conditions, Abu Malik, whose son is has significant malnutrition and a condition called wasting. Because you might think, how does a 14-year-old weigh 45 pounds? It is because of the malnutrition. And then you also have Wasim, who has a young baby as well. He brought her on the live with me the other day. So anything that you all can do to assist is greatly appreciated. Yes, is greatly appreciated.
Danny, look comment, Wasim, look comment.
No comment. Yes, I see your comment. Tonight she will come to visit me on the 11th day. He means 11th hour of the broadcast. That's what he means. He means the 11th hour. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
2 years, 2 o'clock ونص, 2 o'clock 2 o'clock ايش have 2 o'clock ان شاء الله يا رب.
Okay.
Comment Dan.
I am. I'm going to comment. I'm going to comment.
Comment.
Hold on. Where's my thing to let me?
No happy red. No happy red.
Where is it? Okay, there it is. Okay. You said.
وين اشوف كومنت اشوف.
Give me a second.
Sandy, thank you Sandy. يا جماعة أبو تيم إذا أنت موجود معي ركز. أنا حكيت لها الليلة تيجي. شوف أنا هتيجي الليلة. ركز معي يا أبو تيم.
Comment, Wasim.
حسين good, very good English. أوكي. هيا يا جماعة كتبت تعليق. استنى. قلت 12 صباحا بالنسبة لي وهي 5 مساء. أوكي. اليوم يعني دي.
Yes. Today.
يعني كمان 4 years 4 o'clock yeah. It's Andy coming, Kayla coming, Wish coming. Okay.
He wants all of you all to come to the live with me. Yeah, he's very excited.
Okay.
Yeah, he wants all of you guys to come to the live with me.
Share Dani and Bolling and Big Daddy. Wallah, Wasim, very happy. And Wasim, I love you. Wallah.
We love you too. So guys, I don't know if anybody else is able to recharge. It would be great to get, thank you, Chris. It would be great to get each of them to 2K and then I can rotate out. Because I only have 20 more minutes. Yeah. That works. Yeah. So I only have
Wasim drink coffee.
Yes, drink coffee. Yes, coffee. Yes. Coffee.
Yes.
Yes, it's coffee.
Wasim 50-50 English. 50-50 English.
Oh, did he too? Yeah. You should have seen him the first time I went to his live. I thought he was just gonna like explode. He was so happy. And amazing. So
Big Daddy, very, very good friend. Very good. Wallah. Very good. Wallah, Dani, 1 minute.
Okay.
1 minute.
Okay.
Wallah, Dani.
His English is getting better. He's very excited and and he's funny. And so when he's so exuberant, for when I join his live, okay. Yeah, he's going to translate and put it in the comments again. That works. So folks, here's what I will do is because I have a hard stop in 18 minutes regardless. So what I'm going to do is close this live tomorrow. If I come back tonight, I will post it across all the socials so you will know. If I come back tonight, we will talk about the children of Dilley and go into all of those reports. If I don't come back tonight, tomorrow, that will be what I start the live with. Okay. All right. So I appreciate you all very much. Have a great day.
كمان تاني